All right, so happy Wednesday. Does anybody have any wins they want to share before I dive in this week? And let all these other people in. Welcome, welcome. We got some brand new people. We've got some people who have graduated. We got some people who are in the middle of their process. So that is good. Once you're done with the 12 weeks, keep coming back to refresh, refresh your brain. So, all right. So let me see here. All right, so welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. I like to call these lunch and learns because here in Arizona, it's 12 o'clock, so it's kind of lunchtime. And that's just how I originally did it. Now we just do a bunch of different group calls, but this one is typically a little bit longer. It's usually a PowerPoint, unless I'm doing the kitchen stuff. So I think it's a little bit easier it keeps me on track and it's visual for you guys as well. So we've got a lot to talk about today. I've got a lot of shout outs, a lot. At least I was smart enough to start my list early. We're going to talk about fad diets, common diets, why it's important to know about those common diets. We're talking about the fat burning foods, macronutrients. I am going to talk about the glycemic index. We'll go into portions and um, and then mindset. I mean, these are all pieces of the puzzle. Our topic today is why diets don't work and what does. So that's what we're going to dig in today. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So here's your funnies for the day. While you guys are enjoying those, we got some shout outs. Heather, congratulations to you, Heather. You're down 10 pounds in just 2 weeks, which is a lot. That's pretty big. And also, Karen, same thing, 10 pounds in 2 weeks. That's not as common, but apparently it seems to be the trend. Layla, her waist is down, her chest is down, her neck, her arms, her calves. She's down 13 pounds total. And she said people can really see a difference in her. Down 10 pounds total down 10 inches and 13 pounds. And she's only on day 32. So that's really, really exciting. Lynn is down 37, almost 38 inches. Now, I think she just finished the program, but that's a lot. That's really, really, really impressive. So congratulations, Lynn. Echo has surpassed her weight loss goal by 5 pounds. She's down 30 pounds. Carol's down 10 pounds. Kathleen, she said both her blood pressure and her blood pressure are now regular, whereas they were both not, they were both high. Heather is down 12 pounds in the first 2 weeks. Congratulations, Heather. Another Lynn, she said her energy is very much improved since she started this program. She said she used to struggle to get out of bed, and now she just pops out, so she's feeling great. And then Jacqueline, spoke to Jacqueline this morning. She said she feels just overall just better. Her acne and rosacea is gone. And I saw her on Zoom and she looked, her skin was beautiful. She said her joints don't hurt. She's down 8 pounds and she's only 10 days in. So Jacqueline, you're rocking the house too. So congratulations to you. I wanted to shout out some welcomes. We got Liz, Danielle, Denise, Heather, Violetta, Elizabeth, Lisa, David, Candy, Karen, Carolyn, Ellen, Timothy, Laura, Celine, Michael, Claudia, and Michelle. So congratulations to those just getting started and those having lots of good success. If you're having success and I didn't mention your name, I just didn't have any more room on my piece of paper. So congratulations to all of you for hanging in there. All right, so let's talk about some diets. Before I dive in, does anybody have some goofy, silly, crazy, wild or for just funny diets that they've tried in their lifetime that they are willing to share or admit that they did? Nobody? Anybody? I
I'm
remember
sorry.
go
Have we ever
ahead.
been on, did you just say, have we ever been on diets? Ever
Like
tried?
a crazy, funky, weird, I'm gonna
Oh,
talk about a few weird, funky diets, but
like, like there was a cabbage soup one.
oh, that's on my list.
Yeah, I did that. It was so successful, but then you had to go back to eating and it didn't last.
That's
Yeah,
exactly what the note said when I was looking it up. Everybody regains after that one.
yeah.
I did one when I was a teenager, and I don't know what the name of it was, but it was one day you would have 9 eggs. I think it was hard-boiled eggs. Another day you would have 9 hot dogs, and another day you would have 9 bananas.
Oh, I remember that one. I
Do
don't know
you
if I did it.
really?
I don't know if I did it because it just doesn't sound like.
I don't, I don't remember if I stuck with the all 3 days, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Bizarre.
remember that.
Beach.
Yeah, I did that one too. I don't remember losing any weight.
Which one?
The eggs, bananas, hot dogs,
Oh gosh.
3 days. That yeah, nothing happened.
And how healthy can your body be? Eating hot
Yeah,
dogs?
yeah.
Knowing what I know now, recently, I look at so many things on the internet, and with internet, there's video, and with that, you get to see things that are moving. And I saw a cross section of a slice of a hot dog. You guys will never eat a hot dog again once I tell you this. But it's
Good. Tell us.
like across the section of a sliced hot dog under the microscope, and stuff was moving in there. It was moving, and I'm like, ugh. I mean, I know you're gonna probably cook it and kill something, but who knows what's in hot dog anyway?
No, I believe it. I believe it. I told you one time, like to get my kid, they never knew what hot dogs were, my kids, until Michael's mom was feeding them hot dogs. And so I showed them videos on how hot dogs are made, and it is beyond disgusting. And as I said, sometimes it's roadkill. Like they're all different. Like it's unbelievable. Yeah, not good.
Yikes. All right. First one that I got here for you guys. This came out in the 1930s. The grapefruit diet, also known as the Hollywood diet. And the base concept is that you eat a grapefruit at every single meal. This one did allow, let's see, it did allow some proteins, but no other fruits or veggies or starchy foods. But that was also known as the Hollywood diet. Special K diet, all that is, and I'm sure they did it, they made it up because now you got to buy extra Special K. But it was Special K for breakfast, Special K for lunch, and then have a regular sensible meal at dinner. But that would be extremely low calorie. Because what is that, a couple hundred calories each bowl of cereal?
Isn't that super high glycemic though?
Cornflakes are high glycemic, yes. Cabbage soup diet, we just talked about that one. That one came out in the 1950s. The concept, it was supposed to go for a week, but your energy would be low, your calories would be low. You get very gassy with this one. And it said everybody would regain the weight once you start eating again. So probably not that. I actually have that recipe in my book, but I called it detox soup. It's just something that you eat on what we
Yeah,
would
it's
call
really
veggie.
good. It's
Oh,
really
it's
good.
delicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just put a bunch of other vegetables in there and make it chicken stock or bone broth or something. Baby food diet. Has anybody heard of that one?
That sounds pretty disgusting.
It's exactly what you would think it is. And you're just eating 16 jars of baby food every day. And at the end of the day, it's basically a low calorie diet. Um, Shangri-La diet. This one is where you drink olive oil in between your meals. And the concept was that if you're drinking flavorless, because olive oil doesn't have a lot of flavor, it would make you want to eat less. But from what I know about healthy fats, when you consume a lot of healthy fats, it can reduce cravings for sweets. So that's where that might work, I guess. But that just sounds like I don't want to drink olive oil. I just don't want to do that. I'd rather have it on my salad or
I
toss.
would think people were being pretty regular.
There's that. Oil in the bowl.
Right.
And then, of course, we all have heard of low fat, low calorie, low carb. We've all heard of those diets. And, we've all gone through phases. And through the years, when we started taking the fat out is when people were getting fat. Low calorie just basically slows down your metabolism. And low carb is something we're going to talk about a little bit, kind of right about now. Oh, this one's going to go out of order. So Atkins diet, I think I talked about this on Monday maybe, but I did want you to know about it because a lot of times your food products will say Atkins friendly. So what does that even mean? It just anything Atkins is low carb, and Atkins are typically low or higher fat. Atkins and the keto are pretty much the same. But Atkins pretty much has people eating 20 grams of carbs a day, which is not very much. You get 20 grams of carbs in, well, maybe not in a salad, but one small serving of brown rice is a little more than 20 grams of carbs. And if that's all you're eating in the whole day, that's very, very low carb. The Mediterranean diet, that one's mostly plant-based. Fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, healthy fats, seafoods, moderate dairy, fermented dairy like yogurt and kefir, limited red meats, no sweets or drinks with sugar, no processed foods, no beer and liquor. So there's that. But if it's something's a Mediterranean diet, it's probably somewhat healthy, but it's a lot higher in carbs for sure. The DASH diet is a low, it's good for your blood pressure. So if your doctor has diagnosed you with high blood pressure, the DASH, and if something is DASH diet friendly, that's going to be good for you. It's going to be low sodium. I don't know where my notes are on that, but it's low sodium. It's dairy that's low fat or non-fat, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, fish, poultry, beans, nuts, and healthy oils. So those are all going to be good for your cardiovascular system. So if something is labeled DASH, just know it's going to be good for your heart. This, as I mentioned, who was one of our people today, Kathleen, her blood pressure has gone down since she started this program. So our program is also very, very, very good for your cardiovascular health as well. Keto or ketogenic is basically when you're putting your body into ketosis. So I have this visual in the middle, and I wanted you to see that so you get a good understanding. So when you see a product that's labeled keto friendly, just know that it's going to be high fat. Keto is high fat, whereas paleo is high protein, medium fat. So typically the ketogenic diet, 65 to 70% of your calories will come from fat. Only 25 to 30% of your calories will come from protein, and only 5% will come from carbs. So that, again, just like Atkins, very low carb. The difference between Atkins and keto is apparently through phases of Atkins, they do incorporate more carbs. So it's a little more flexible. To me, the ketogenic, because it is high fat and medium protein, you practically do have to drink your olive oil, or, you have to take in a lot of fats. And the other part of keto is when people are doing it and kind of running with it, and they're just doing a lot of bacon and cheese all day long, because those are high fat, very, very high fat. And having that much saturated fat in your diet is not going to be good for your cardiovascular system. So if you are to lean towards keto, stick with your avocado oils, your olive oils, your coconut oils, your grass-fed butters, your egg yolks, salmon, your oily fish, your nuts and your seeds. Those are your better, healthier fats. You can have some saturated fats. In fact, we'll talk about that next week. So just FYI. Now, paleo, I really wanted you guys to be familiar with paleo because it's very similar to what we are doing here. Paleo does eliminate dairy and gluten and red meat, I believe red meat, and legumes. So they don't call for any beans. That way, so peanut butter is out. So paleo, something that's labeled paleo friendly, if it's a recipe that's paleo friendly, if it's labeled that, that's a good thing for you if you're wanting to stay compliant with this program, because they're not going to call for breadcrumbs or bread products or cheese products or any other creams or dairy products, because they don't do dairy and gluten. So if you're stymied or bored with all of our recipes, which there's hundreds in the book, people say I'm bored and I just go, did you make all, 100 recipes? Because there's a lot in the book. But if nothing in there looks good to you, go to Google and put paleo, breakfast, lunch, dinner, or dessert and see what comes up. True paleo will not be asking for sugar. They'll be giving you the versions with the monk fruit or the stevia. And sometimes they'll give you the sugar alcohols, which are natural, so technically it's compliant to paleo. And then we have the low glycemic diet. So let me
Tammy,
yes.
one thing, sorry. I did notice that on paleo, I did see a lot of coconut sugar and maple, is it maple syrup sugar? Or it's called maple?
A lot of people do use maple syrup as a sweetener.
Mhm.
It's lower on the glycemic index, and so is coconut sugar. And
But there
because
is like a maple sugar. There's the maple syrup, but there's also like a maple sugar. I forget exactly what it's called. But those we can't use those, right?
Yeah, I was eating the epic salmon, and oh my gosh, it was so delicious. But I was like, this tastes kind of sweet. And the second
Oh,
ingredient was maple sugar on the, those
oh, sugar, yeah.
okay.
epic meat snacks, and
What is the glycemic?
I tell you, it's delicious.
It wasn't the bar, it was the strip. So
Yeah, the strip. It was
it wasn't the bar, it was the salmon strip.
salmon strip. So it was, oh my gosh, it was, like dried salmon, but it was so delicious.
My phone isn't working.
He bought two of them, so I felt I should eat them.
All right, so let me try that again. What is the glycemic index of maple sugar? Well, it's thinking. Well, back at the wrench. I'm going to stop my share for just a moment. I did go over this yesterday, but I want everybody to see this because it's an important piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
I have a question.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to know your blood sugars for this to work. This is just for demonstration purposes. But we get to a place where we're hungry, or in some cases hangry, or if you're me, grumpy. I cry real easy when I'm hungry. But typical American diet, we eat something. Typical American food is high glycemic, so we eat something, piece of bread, is anything sweet, anything processed, pasta, all of that stuff. It spikes our blood sugars and it sends your body right into the fat storage zone. The problem is when it spikes quickly, it also plummets quickly. And then we get hungry, whether we need nourishment or not, we're going to want to eat again. And then same thing, same thing, same thing. All the while we have bypassed and skipped the fat burning zone. So the trick is when we base our foods based on the glycemic index, we eat something that does not spike our blood sugars as fast, we land in that fat burning zone, and then we get a little hungry, it dips down, we eat a little something, and it slowly comes back up, And then that's kind of our day. It literally puts your body in a fat burning zone. So I just wanted to give you guys that visual, and I didn't know how to put that on a PowerPoint.
I had a question.
I'm sure Hillary can school me on that later.
Oh, go ahead. Michael had a question.
So I was looking at that glycemic guide yesterday, and I saw that yogurt was like, unsweetened regular yogurt was like low, like a 19 or something.
Yeah.
Why is yogurt not good for us? Is it the pasteurization or something, or the?
Right now, dairy is out of the game. It's because dairy in and of itself, whether it's yogurt or cheese or milk or any of these things, yogurt, especially Greek yogurt, is a really good source of protein.
That was the thing too.
But dairy, generally speaking, can be an inflammatory and it can be hard on the gut. So these first 12
okay.
weeks, we go without it. We give that gut a real shot.
Okay. Now, after the 12 weeks, like, do you eat Greek yogurt still? No, after you've been through a situation like this, is it part of your diet or no?
Yeah. So at the very end of your program, you're going to book your one-on-one, your 4th one-on-one coaching call, which I call the transition call. And we'll see where you are at in your goals. Did you hit your goals? Did you not yet hit your goals? And then I'll give you advice from there. Plus, I will explain how to reintroduce those gray area foods, dairy being one of them.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
They can be reintroduced. At the end of 12 weeks, though, you may not want to. You may want it now because you guys are kind of a few weeks in, but eventually you might not want it back. I mean,
I'm not longing for it, but I thought
It was
it was good protein and it was low glycemic, so I wasn't sure what was bad about it.
It's a great snack. So if dairy bothers me, so I try to go non-dairy stuff like that. I mean, just knowing what happens in my body when I have it. And I get a lot of sinus within my face. I can't talk and I can feel my joints different. It just causes inflammation in my body. So, everybody's body responds differently. Like all these diets I just talked about, some people respond better to low carb and some people respond better to just all plant-based. Everybody's different. Some are more commonly have better results, just because that's it's just more common. But anyway, so I wanted to give you that visual for the glycemic index so that everything else I talk about now will make sense. All right, so when we're trying to get our bodies in that fat burning zone, basically before, in my old program that I was running, I would have my clients put their food in 4 categories. Now, when I talk about macronutrients, there really technically are only 3. It's proteins, carbs, and fats. The thing is, the carbs is, as you can see in the picture, carbs, there's the brown rice, there's the lentils, there's the peas, there's beets, there's winter squash, yams, quinoa, lentils, all of those things. Which can spike blood sugars if you have too much. But the ones we've chosen for you in this program are all on the lower glycemic. So that's why one of the reasons why we've chosen them, or they're not inflammatory. But because vegetables go in that category, I made an extra separate category for that. So on the veggies, you want to eat your veggies because that's where your health, that's where your nutrition comes. That's where the good fiber comes. It's good prebiotics for your gut. It's minerals, it's vitamins, it's antioxidants, it's anti-aging. So you definitely want to get as much carbs as you can, or as much veggies as you can, while at the same time curbing your carbs of the other starchy types of carbs that I mentioned, the lentils, the quinoa, and the brown rice, that sort of stuff. That's, again, why I put it into 4 categories. So your veggies are for your health, and that's on the all you can eat. Your carbs are for energy. So if you need to if you're going to run a marathon tomorrow, you're going to clean out the garage, or you have a giant backyard that needs to be raked, or you're going to be going on a 2-hour hike, or you're going out dancing, then yeah, you want to make sure you have your carbs. You do want to stick to a 1/2 cup per serving is a max. And in this program, it's just 2 servings per day. And each of those half cups have to be at 2 separate meals. They can't both be at the same meal. Your protein is the reason we need protein is to improve or increase your metabolism. If we're not getting enough protein and we're not getting enough calories, the body needs something to keep going. It won't, like a car runs out of gas, it stops. When we run out of gas, it just breaks down the lean muscle. Well, if you're having enough protein and you're getting your strength training in, then you're likely to maintain that lean body mass, and your body will have to go over the fat instead. And then lastly, fats. You definitely want your fats at every meal. Those are to reduce cravings and increase satiety. It really makes you feel full when you eat a higher fat meal, when you're making sure to eat fat at every meal. You cannot absorb your fat soluble vitamins without fats. And that's A, D, E, and K. And those are obviously very important vitamins. So if you're on a fat-free diet, like we just talked about in the last screen, we're not doing ourselves any favors, because even if we're having a pretty rainbow color salad with purple cabbage and red bell peppers and dark green leafies and orange carrots and all the pretty colors, if there's no fat in there, we're not going to absorb all those wonderful vitamins. Fats, you want, generally speaking, 15 to 20 grams per meal. Protein for the women, you want at least 4 ounces. For the guys, about 6 ounces. So those are kind of the portions on those. Oh, I forgot. Okay, so portions. So veggies, they're on the all-you-can-eat plan. So you never have to limit your veggies. Obviously, some people have reactions to either nightshades, or they just are allergic to certain vegetables. Obviously, don't have those. But having a variety of colors is a really good idea, because that's where your different loads of vitamins are. So your orange and your yellow ones are going to be high in vitamin A and vitamin C. Your dark green leafies are very detoxifying for the body. So you just really want to get a bunch of colors. As I said, carbs are half a cup up to 2 meals a day. A serving size would also be 1 small fruit. When and if you bring bread back in, 1 slice of bread is a single serving. So if you do choose to bring bread back after your 12 weeks, 1 slice is your limit. And I'm not talking about a big sourdough slice. I'm talking about the size of a sandwich, the sandwich bread. Protein. Technically, I don't want you guys to overwhelm yourself with, oh my God, I have to count proteins now too. I'm just giving you this information because a lot of people just ask me a lot and they want to know, well, how much protein should I be getting? So it's your desired weight, not your current weight, but your desired weight times 0.7. So for the women, you want to get 3 to 4 ounces of chicken or fish or seafood at each and every meal. Or men, you want to get 5 or 6 ounces. You know, you want to get at least 20 to 30 grams per meal. But if you're hitting that 4-ounce piece, you're going to hit between the 20 and 30 grams per meal. Okay, so the reason I put this one up here, so I wanted to kind of do this in real time. So I was just, and what this is supposed to be is a tostada salad. So if you go to a restaurant, now the reason I was putting my food in portions for you is once you get past the 12 weeks and you no longer want to count calories, you're like, I don't want to count another calorie a day in my life. I'm tired of doing that. I get it. It's another part-time job. I do understand that. We just kind of need to know you're getting enough food. So when you go to if I go to the Mexican restaurant and I look at the menu and I say, okay, I'm going to have the tostada salad. I'm going to tell the waiter, well, eliminate the taco shell and just put it directly on the plate. We know it's got lots of good lettuce, mixed greens, lettuce in there. So those are veggies. So if you're picking one thing from each of the 4 categories, so, okay, it's got veggies in there, it's got tomatoes, it's got pico de gallo, which has got tomatoes and onions and cilantro. These are all vegetables. That's wonderful. So your vegetable box, at least you got vegetables. And then your choices, chicken, shrimp, or beef or pork or whatever. So, okay, I'll pick the grilled chicken. Okay. And then I see on the menu that it comes with avocado or cheese or sour cream. All three of those things would be put in a fat category. But you just want to pick one thing from each of the categories. So you're going to have to eliminate two of those three things. I know that avocado is better for me, so I'm going to choose the avocado. But even if I was feeling a little bit naughty, if I choose the shredded cheese instead, I'm going to eliminate the other two fats. This way my calories will not go over. And then if it came with beans or rice, those are carbs. Again, you're just going to pick one thing from that category. So if they have whole black beans, obviously after the 12-week, that would be the carb that I choose over the rice, because there's Spanish rice is basically white rice, which is very high glycemic. So that's how I would manage going to a restaurant or putting together a meal at home. So hopefully that makes sense. Does that make sense?
If you go to Chipotle, so you'd go salad, no beans, the meat, chicken, and then you'd go tomatoes, no cheese, guac.
Lettuce and, I
Yeah.
mean,
And
yeah.
lettuce.
Yeah.
We don't like peppers, but if you like peppers, you could do peppers and like that. So skip the beans and skip the rice.
In
get
the
one of
first
them.
12, in the first 12 weeks, you definitely want to skip the beans and the rice. But if you're past your
Okay.
12 weeks and you've decided you want to incorporate a little bit of beans,
Just pick one.
get the whole beans versus any refried beans. Refrieds tend to be a little bit more processed, and they also tend to have lard in them, which can be a
And
saturated.
pinto beans are supposedly high glycemic on that chart we looked at yesterday. So
Really?
take the black beans.
Yeah, black
And
bean.
corn.
I always go for black. I think
Corn's high glycemic.
Yeah, so this is the only picture I could find. I was trying to do taco salad. And you would be surprised the photos that came up when I put tostada salad. I saw pictures of fish. Like, how did that even? So this was the best I could do. But yeah, you're picking one thing from each category. So you got your chicken, that's your protein, box checked. You got your veggies, your shredded lettuce, your pico de gallo, maybe it's got shredded cabbage or shredded carrots in there. Great, lots of vegetables are good. And then you got your fat, you got either your guacamole or your sliced avocado. And then your carb could be either the whole beans, or you could skip your carb and just tell them, leave all the beans out. Again, your carbs are for
I have a
energy.
question.
Yes.
On that picture, I see corn. Would you not leave off the corn?
Absolutely. It's just and it also looks like it has, I'm not sure if those are orange bell peppers, which would be fine,
Mm.
but it also looks like fruit. So I'm not sure what that is. But absolutely,
No,
Okay.
that's
most
tomatoes.
What?
Oh, maybe tomatoes and peppers, but definitely tomatoes. And there's cheese underneath that piece of chicken, of course.
Yeah, so I would have told them no cheese because obviously I got my guacamole. So as
Yeah.
long as you know what foods go in what categories. I know a lot of people think beans go in the protein category, but they're far more carby than they are protein. And plus they're an incomplete protein. You'd have to combine it with something else that's has the missing amino.
Tammy, what do you think about corn? I think I see corn in there.
Yeah. Oops. This is just a picture. I was just kind of more sort of remind
But
me.
would you do corn? Just curious.
No.
No.
I haven't done corn in years. I just got away from it. And it's usually genetically modified. And,
Yeah.
and the reason why that's not even good is what they did when they modified it was they basically put the pesticide in it so the pests don't want to eat it. But if we're consuming mass quantities of it, what is that doing to our bodies? They just make it so the pests don't want it. Well, if it's not edible, it's not edible. Right? All right, so the last thing here. So mindset. So why diets don't work? There are a lot of good diets. We talked about that. already. There's a lot of crazy wild baby food, Shangri-La, grapefruit, cabbage diets out there. There's some good diets. The ketogenic isn't bad. The paleo is pretty good. I'm a big fan of low glycemic. There's a lot of good, the Mediterranean, a lot of good healthy diets out there. But if we don't have our head on straight, if we don't have the right mindset, if we don't have the right set of perspectives, and we're not training the subconscious mind to do something new, we're going to fall back into our old habits. And it happens, I see it a lot. And through the years, I've been in the weight loss space for just a long time. And it was primarily for myself. I was my own patient, and I for 7 years I didn't figure it out. But what I figured out at the very end, when I finally lost the weight and kept it off, was that the main thing that had changed for me was my mindset, was how I think about the foods, and how I think about the foods and the associations I give with them. But like, where is your focus? If we're focused on why is this so hard, and how focused on all the things that have been taken away or eliminated, it feels like deprivation. It feels like you're being deprived. Who in the heck could stick with that? If you focus on, well, what can I have? Well, gosh, there's 100 recipes in the book alone, not to mention Google. If you go to Google and find some paleo recipes. So if you're focusing on the right things, if you go to Pinterest, if you're seeing ooey gooey, cheesy, creamy, desserts and casseroles with the oozing cheesy stuff, how in the world are you going to stay away from all that stuff? If you're focusing on how to make a non-dairy Alfredo sauce so that you can have some of the creamy type of things without screwing up your program and adding dairy, you're probably likely going to find those things, and you're likely going to find those recipes. Elizabeth, you have a question?
It's not a question. I was just going to offer, yesterday on Kindle, I bought a cookbook called What the Heck Can I Cook? Or something like that. Like, what the heck am I going to cook? And it follows the program almost to a T, and has a lot of new, exciting options that I thought I'd let everybody know about. I think Mark Hyman is the author. He's also
I love him. I love him.
in rehabilitation world, and he's got 2 new books. One is What the Heck Am I Gonna Eat, and what's the companion to it, What the Heck Am I Gonna Cook, which I got both of. But yeah, they've got really exciting new ideas in there.
That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's good. Hillary?
No, I just wanted to say that I really enjoy being creative, trying to find the things I like. Like I love pizza, so I do a ground chicken crust pizza. So I take ground chicken, with nutritional yeast and eggs, and make a pizza crust, and then we put all vegetables on it, and we use like Victoria's tomato sauce. So I think there's ways. You just got to be creative and like, oh, I love this meal. How can I make that meal?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect, because that's, again, where's your focus? What are you looking for? How can I have pizza? How can I? So,
Yeah. So I have, is this okay? I ask a question about something else? An ingredient?
what is it?
So we have a kind of a farmer's, it's a store with a lot of local produce and stuff. And they make their own blackened seasoning, and I bought it. And I went to use it on my salmon, but I didn't know. So the first ingredient is salt.
Every time with those, it's just,
Okay.
it's an expensive salt is what they are.
Right? Yeah. Spices, paprika, dehydrated onion, and garlic, all that is fine. And then it says Olerasin paprika, not sure what that is, and silicon dioxide added to prevent caking. Not sure, so I didn't use it.
I don't know what silicon dioxide is.
Yeah. $7.
But that, to me, it feels like expensive salt. And like lemon pepper, I love lemon pepper, but why do I like it? Because it's more salt than it is lemon or pepper. You know, at least seasoned salt admits it. They're claiming to be salt.
Right. That's wild.
All right, so creating new habits, you know, we're asking you to do new things and do different things and step outside your comfort zone, and which is uncomfortable. But if you just start and do little teeny tiny new little habits, it becomes more comfortable. So now these habits become within your comfort zone. And in 2 weeks, I'm going over the atomic habits. And I get my information from the book called Atomic Habits. So go listen to it on Audible or on YouTube. You can listen to clips of it. It's really, really a cool book to listen to. It gives us ideas. It makes us understand why do we do things that we know go against the exact thing we're trying to achieve. Someone's in the chat. One of my favorite books. Oh, Atomic Habits, Crystal. Yeah, I go back and re-listen to some of those clips often. So creating new habits and just thinking of that, well, you want to live a new lifestyle, we got to do something different. You want something different, we got to do something different. We got to become someone different. Right? Focusing on the little goals. We were just talking about that, I think this week earlier. And in Atomic Habits, he talks about the little things. What can you do in 2 minutes? Right? I don't want to have to make a gourmet meal, but I could certainly cut up an onion in 2 minutes if I just break it down into smaller pieces. And then maybe I cut up that onion and put it in the freezer and I'll deal with it next week. That's fine. But doing little things that set you up for the win, that's a great way to go. Taking 100% responsibility. And you know you're not doing that if you are blaming or complaining. If you're blaming someone or something or the weather or your husband or your kids or your boss or you don't have enough money or whatever, if we're blaming or complaining, we are not taking responsibility. And the reason we do that is because now that's easier because it's somebody else's fault. However, you lose your personal power when you do that. You don't want to give the weather the power to be in charge of your health and wellness. You don't want to give the hostess of the party the power to be in charge of your health and wellness. If we take 100% responsibility, we'll go to that party and we'll bring a dish we can eat. Or if it's raining outside, we'll work out inside. So we cannot let the weather or the hostess or other outside situations or the colleague at the office who brings donuts every Friday. We can't blame them. We have to take 100% responsibility, but that's personal power. So once you get to that place, now it is kind of cool because it was on you and you did earn that. Like all the names I read on the list today, they took responsibility and they suited up and they showed up. Oh, the next one, dance with guilt. I think I stole that from Tony Robbins. I'm pretty sure I got that from him. But when there's guilt, if we do fall backwards and we have the cookie or we have the pizza, we were just talking about pizza or whatever, we do a slip. This Sunday's Super Bowl, hopefully we just bring a healthy dish and we can get through it. But if you do fall off and I say cookie, that's my kryptonite, but you fill in your own blank, you know what yours is. But if you have that thing and then you feel guilty about it, okay, which is normal, but then what happens? God, I just beat myself up and I beat myself up and I beat myself up and oh, screw it. I'll just have another one. I'll start again Monday or, I'll start next week or I'll just start over or whatever. My suggestion here is, okay, I feel guilty. Awesome. That's great. What does that mean? That guilt is God or the universe telling me I'm off track. That's all that is. It's the guilt is a compass. So when the compass is saying, yeah, you're off track. All right, great. Put that second cookie back down. Let's get back on the track and just enjoy that guilt because it took you off course. If you go off course when you're driving, even if it's just 5%, you're going to end up in a completely different state if you keep on going, even though it's just this much off off course if we keep on buying into the guilt. So let's let that guilt tell us a story and let it put us back on the track. Oh, I thought I had one more. Anybody got any?
Can you go back so I can take a screenshot? I was waiting for, because I was thinking you had room for more, so yeah,
I thought I had another one, but I guess not.
hang on. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. That was good.
Anybody else want to screenshot it? You guys can I can go back if there's anything else you guys want to say. Oops. So to recap, we got lots of crazy diets out there. Really, it's just about living healthy. Right now, you guys are on kind of a restricted, some things come back, fruit and nuts come back after about a month. And then the gray area foods, dairy, gluten, legumes, and red meat comes back after 12 weeks. But just do all you've got to do is do your best. No one is supposed to, or I don't expect, nobody expects you to do your best. If you end up in a situation, you're at a conference and all they serve is, cheese sandwiches. It is what it is. You either find something else or you skip that meal. We can't always control everything, but we take our own power into things that we can control. All right, so anybody else got questions or input?
Can you hear me? I want to offer something out.
Yes.
Oh, I living at TJ Maxx lately, getting some hacks. I got a mini NutriBullet for like $19.99 to travel with
Oh, that's
because tomorrow, yeah, we're going to our condo in Vegas, but it's got like a small ability for me to make my shake. And the mini NutriBullet versus the BlendJet will crush the avocado as well.
that's great.
And it doesn't weigh a lot, so you can put it in your luggage.
Well, that's really good. And you could probably fill the cup part with other things, so you're not wasting.
Yeah, I'm good. I just went to the store while you guys were on and bought the avocados. So I'll just, put the shake in a baggie and jump over to Vegas and not lose track of where I'm supposed to be while everybody else is eating and drinking and stuff.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else? Hot tips or tricks?
I have a question.
Yes.
So I know in the email I had said, when you start working out, do we have to increase our calories? How do we know?
Let's keep you where you're at.
Okay.
Let me think about that for a second. Keep you where you're at, but if you're feeling like, man, I'm just starving, maybe you do need to add a little bit more. So add maybe 100 or so more, 100 or 2.
Okay.
That way, hopefully, if you're working out for somewhat of a decent amount of time, it's still a deficit, but you're getting more. And I would say if you're starting exercise, the first way to increase would be increase your protein. That way you're sure to get enough protein. And you're
Okay,
not
sounds
breaking the lean body mass down.
Okay, sounds good. And second question was, I finished the first detox. When we get to the second one, I'm assuming we just don't work out on the days we're doing the detox, do we have to watch before and after as well?
It depends on how you feel. You're not getting a ton of protein, even if you're having shakes on the transition days, either side. So you might go light, you might go for stretching, maybe just a faster paced walk, but nothing super strenuous. But if you're feeling amazing and up for it, you can try it, but listen to your body and give yourself that grace.
Okay.
With those days, the calories tend to be a little lower. So that might have you drag in a little bit as well. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
Awesome. Anybody else?
We have to step up our exercise for sure. That we have to
Have you gone through module 5 yet?
No.
That's the plan. That it's very beginner friendly, and the only equipment that you're going to need is a resistance band. So, and it's all stuff you can do from home. And how I have it designed is I put your body into 4 groups. So you're only going to work 1 group a day. So as a beginner, you're going to do 1 body part. So it's chest, legs, back, or core, but just 1. So say it's chest day, which is anything pushing, pushing up, pushing center, pushing down, you know, push chest fly, whatever. And I demo like 6 or 8 different exercises in that category of just chest. So you're going to start with by just picking two exercises. Okay, that one looks good and that one looks good. Push-ups and chest fly, whatever. So you'll do 3 sets of exercise number 1, whichever one you picked. You might do 12 repetitions or 15 repetitions. Wait 30 seconds, do your second set, and then your third set, and then go to exercise number 2, and then you're done. Then tomorrow you'll do a different muscle group, and then by the time you'll circle back to chest again, you're going to add something. So you might add, maybe you change your repetitions from 12 to 18, or you go 4 sets, or you add a third exercise, or you make it a little harder with heavier weights.
Oh, that's cool.
And each time you get back to that group and track, say, okay, this time I did 3 sets of 18 repetitions. And then the next time you come back, well, let me add a third exercise. Maybe you go back to 15 reps if you're adding a third exercise, because that's 3 more sets. So you can kind of play with that, or you can go really heavy and go maybe 7 or 8 repetitions per set if you're going really heavy.
Okay, I appreciate that.
It's a super beginner friendly, and it's something you can build on. So you're not going to get super fit in the first couple of weeks, but each time you add a little bit more, that way you're really working one muscle group. That's how you're going to strengthen it. If I just do a couple of push-ups over there and a couple lunges over there and a couple crunches for my abs, did I get anything stronger? Probably not. I moved my body, but I didn't really beat it up to where it's getting stronger. And that's what you want. That's how we get that fit look. That's how we get stronger. And that's how we speed up that metabolism. Because part of what we want to do in the program is to get your metabolism moving faster as well.
For sure. Thank you.
You are welcome. I mean, you guys can do yoga and Pilates and boxing and bar class or CrossFit or just a Zumba class at the gym, you know, but strength training really will serve you long term. All right, anybody else before I take off here? All right, well, I will go ahead and stop the recording.